How's it going, team? And welcome to episode 13 of our discussion series. Not going to be unlucky, hopefully not. Okay. It's all about supplements. So it's just us discussing what we've done throughout our training, what other people have done that we maybe haven't done.
Supplements and enhancements.
Yes, we're also going to discuss performance-enhancing drugs,
gear,
or PEDs, as it's delightfully known as these days.
PEDs.
So we'll start off with just your supplements. For those of you that don't understand how supplements work, the clue is in the title.
It's in the name of it.
And most of the time people do not use them as a supplement. They use them as a meal replacement service, especially things like protein shakes is probably or diet replacement shakes or whatever. So when you're doing or eating or drinking these supplements, use it to add to your diet rather than to replace something else when you could just eat food or drink.
Yeah, food's going to be your best bet every single time. But if it's a case of either I don't have anything or a protein shake, then that's going to be, then obviously go for a shake. But if you can have food or the shake, go for food obviously every time.
Food is fuel, and is way better for you in nutrients than any shake would ever be as a replacement service. So I get a lot of clients probably when they first start training with me, the first thing they ask is, should I take protein shakes? And I said, no, sort your diet out first before you start adding in anything like that. I used to do protein shakes a lot, usually post-workout. That's when I used to do them. I still do one shake a week. And it's because, as Jake said, I don't have access to food at the time, and it's just much easier to go bosh with a shake to get the protein and the energy from that shake. Because I don't have a lot of time to smash down a Tupperware box of food.
No.
So, but then that's almost delaying. I'm going to eat food at some point, but I need to get energy in at that point because. So after I've just done spin at work, and I'm just I'm ravenous. But I'm not going to get enough time to actually eat something. So that's literally my one shake a week these days.
Wow.
Woo.
After a cardio session.
After a cardio session. Yeah. It's just
waste of protein.
Waste of protein, So just such disappointment at the time, but it's just
I think what people need to focus on more than things like, protein powders or creatine or any of that shite is vitamins and stuff. That's much more important. But you don't know what you need unless you have a blood test.
Yeah, so it's hard to tell people what they need to take because...
But there's stuff that I think, regardless of having a blood test or not, you could probably almost guarantee people would be somewhat deficient in, and that'll be something like vitamin D.
Which I take.
Yeah, so do I. Magnesium.
Yeah.
Which I take. I've started taking that before I go to bed because I read, how fucking true it is, I don't know. That it's better for you before you go to bed because it settles your brain activity a bit more. I don't know. In fairness, actually, I did feel like I was actually sleeping a bit better, but
these are the other things. Trial and error your vitamins and things like that as well. So
what else do I have? Zinc. There's all sorts of stuff I've had. This is what I've been and then just some little testosterone ones as well, just because that's always good.
So I do a multivitamin. And a vitamin D. Yeah. Because you can never have enough vitamin D in your life.
No, especially living in England.
Yeah, we live in England. There's not a lot of sun. So if you're living in beautiful California or something like that, then you probably don't need as much. Australia don't really need as much. But yeah, it's why us Brits are so fucking depressing. Just need a bit of sunshine, and it comes in a form of a tiny tablet if you want it.
All the power of a star.
Woo! Then I take glucosamine. With it comes with magnesium, zinc, ginger, and turmeric. So
curcumin's another good one.
Yeah, so that's the level of what I take in the morning with the one protein shake. So that's literally supplements I take now. When I was growing up. When I was younger, training and first started out, God, man, I took everything under the sun, like pre-workout, which is fucking horrible.
Pre-workout's bullshit.
All it did for me, like people are like, I'm like buzzed, I'm ready to go, and I'm like, just made me itchy as hell. Because of the beta alanine that's in it, itchy fuck, like makes your ears tingle. So then you're just kind of aggravated, which I suppose is, you know, one way of cheering you up for a workout. Then BCAAs, so that's amino acids, which got put in my drink for during the workout. I
don't know. But if you're eating a sufficiently good
diet,
you're getting all that stuff anyway. And if you're having to have a supplement powder of BCAAs, you can just eat some eggs.
Eat some eggs.
You know, like what's
and then as I mentioned earlier, the protein shake at the end. So, and then I was eating protein bar after protein bar, and I'm trying to think of the other thing I used to have. There's something else I used to have as well. And all in all, that just raked the bank account, really.
Exactly.
And you could just go to the shops and get some, as Jake says, get some eggs because they're a lot cheaper. Get some meat because it's actually cheaper than a protein shake. It's much more nutritious for you. It's got a load of other things in it that's going to be way better than half the stuff that they put in protein shakes. Actually, look at the ingredients in a protein shake. Good luck. I bet you can't pronounce 70% of the words.
I was going to say, if you don't know what more than 90% of it is, then
it makes you wonder. And all these people worrying about having the COVID vaccine, you know, that's why. Contentious subject. But that would be my argument to a lot of people with most stuff, not just protein shakes and things like that. But it's whether what's in your cup of tea, you know. But have a look at protein shakes because they're mental. Like it's just, you know, I don't mind putting one in my
protein. Body. Or they'll complain about that, but then they'll have like 4 sugars in the tea.
True. So, what other supplements do you know that other people take?
I suppose I creatine. But then you don't need that if you have red meat. Even if you have once a week a steak or so, you're probably getting enough creatine. I don't really know what it really does.
Well, I always remember watching a documentary when I was like in my 20s about they did a placebo effect of creatine, and it was like on athletes, and half of them were on creatine and half of them weren't. And actually, the people that weren't on creatine were actually the ones that had the best performance after 6 weeks, which is I was like, that's so odd. But creatine, if you don't know what it is, it's a natural. What's the word I'm looking for? So you naturally build it within your system, in your energy systems. So you can't get more of it. It naturally builds in your system. So I don't understand how you can put creatine in your system because it's not going to. You only use one molecule of creatine for that energy system. Right. So how can you increase it?
Right.
You're
literally just putting powder in you that does nothing.
Yeah, because it's like you only use your APT system only uses one molecule of creatine. So to add to it, it doesn't make sense, and it's something that naturally occurs within your body, so you don't need it like that. So it always never made sense to me to have creatine. It's one of the things that came up in one of my PT lessons. I actually learned something in my PT qualification.
Wow.
Woohoo! To be fair, I actually learned a little bit more in my PT because my lecturer was actually really good. But yeah, so I don't really get creatine. Don't understand it. But yeah.
You really have to go on to the basic stuff like
steroids. Yes.
No, well, there's so many different drugs. I don't know half of them.
Well, yeah, I'm not apprised to many of the names of things like that. I think testosterone. My thing about the testosterone thing is like when people say that they get like they're adding to their testosterone, I'm like going, well, if they can do that with a pill, why is there testosterone replacement therapy? Like you have to physically go to the doctors to get that done. Like you can't possibly add like whatever you're putting in you.
Yeah,
slightly worries me.
I think I don't agree that stuff like that's sort of so criminalised though, because if you're an 80-year-old guy who's lower in test, they can go and get it prescribed
on
to
the
them
NHS,
for free.
yeah.
But yet an athlete can't do it
If they're low in testosterone, yeah.
What,
It's like genetically based, like, obviously men is TRT, so testosterone replacement therapy, so men's testosterone gets lower as they get older. Women's a whole different story. HRT becomes involved, and that can happen at any time. You can literally just lose your hormones. We have hormone replacement therapy, so HRT, and that's just dependent on what. Like, we can lose testosterone really quickly. We can lose estrogen really quickly. Many others, and it's almost like you need to get better performance as a woman and as a man. You want higher testosterone in your system.
But sometimes you don't have it naturally, so you have to get it externally. Like I said to you before you pressed play, was if you're in performance, as that's a sport, well, why would you not think, well, I want to be as good as I can. So if you're in performance, why would you not take performance enhancing drugs? And then I also said, if everyone's doing it, then it's not cheating. If you choose to be at a disadvantage, why should you then criminalise those who think, well, I want to be as good as possible, whatever that may mean?
Like, for me, there's just some odd choices in performance enhancing drugs. Like, literally as we speak, the Winter Olympics is on, and this Russian 15, I don't know if you've heard about this Russian 15-year-old. She got tested positive from December, so that's not even at the Olympics, for a angina medication that was apparently her granddad's, which I think is ultimately convenient. But the 15-year-old probably shouldn't be at fault here because she's 15. So I'm going to go with coach or parents on this one. But you're there going, what the hell does that do to enhance your performance? Like, that's mental. And bear in mind, this girl is the best at her sport, even at 15.
What sport is it?
Figure skating.
Okay.
So they're going, why are you taking drugs when you're actually the best? Or is it because you've been taking them all along since you were 11, and that's why you're the best? Like, it's, you just,
who knows?
It's Russia, and I can say that because they've been found guilty of a lot of drug stuff. So, but like, I get your point on why wouldn't you, but I'm also on the side of, like, you've got to deal with what you get.
There's health.
I'm 5 foot tall and can't do anything about it. There ain't no happy pill that makes me get to 6 foot tall.
Exactly, exactly.
You've just got to deal with it, what you've been given. So
you're never going to play in the NBA.
Well, no. Or the WNBA,
No, all right. I meant someone of your
height. There are a couple of short guys in the basketball, I have to say, but probably not as short as me. No.
All right. I was more making the point of, if you're short,
you're gonna
don't play a tall person sport.
Don't do that. Like, you're going to find out what you're good at the end of the day.
But sometimes you've got to do what you can do.
You've got to think of the pros and cons of what you're doing. If you know that that's something that's considered cheating in your sport, a la Olympics, or athletics or whatever, then.
But it shouldn't be. I don't know why it is considered cheating, because just make it.
So it is.
Make it legal.
Yeah.
And then everyone will do it, obviously.
Yeah.
And then it's no different. Because everyone's then on the same level. It's just everyone's on a higher level. It doesn't give anyone an edge if everyone has the same.
Yeah. You almost need a drug-free Olympics and a druggy Olympics.
Well, but
I think, and that they do that.
Everyone does.
They does
drugs. Though, anabolics have been around since the 30s.
Yeah.
And I think people think they may have only come around since, like.
Oh God, no.
Since the 70s.
70s, when bodybuilding was big iron.
But no, it's come. It was big in the 30s, but even before that, since there's been any sort of sport, there's been enhancements. Because again, why wouldn't there?
But we're constantly, in a way, like, this goes off a little bit of keel to supplements and drugs, but people are constantly trying to find enhancements of performance, whether that be what you wear, what you ride, what you do.
Yeah, that's a fair point.
Like,
equipment constantly upgrades.
So can you not upgrade yourself in any particular way? But so there's arguments, pro and con to whether you choose to do performance enhancing drugs. Not my recommendation, because I feel like the side effects to what you're doing if you want to be the best at what you do, then you'd probably make that sacrifice. But for me, it's just not.
I think if you want to do it, cool, crack on, but do your research into it very extensively first.
Yeah,
and not just on one thing. Speak to many people. Do as much homework on various different substances. What you're going to put in your system, So and then if you think right, this is the one I'm going to try. Don't go full on with it. But then, like I said, someone could be on all the gear in the world and have no benefit compared to someone who's completely natty.
Yeah. And
they're a million times a better athlete or whatever because they're just because of how they are. It's in you originally. If it's
you've already got it and you don't need it, then don't bother taking it.
So the drugs don't necessarily make the athlete or whatever.
Well, I think it's that side note to that is when people say, they see a guy that's huge or whatever, and they're like, "It's on gear." And he's like, but he still had to put all the hard work in to be like that. You don't
just do some gear and then you get massive.
You don't take it and go. It's like that. Like we mentioned in the last episode, flaballos and power plates. Like you can't just stand on them and then you lose weight. It's not a case of I take drugs and then I get massive.
You still got to do the work. You still got to,
They still make sacrifices on their food and their training and their lives.
It just improves your recovery and your work
capacity. You'll probably get to where you want to go quicker, but they've still got to put all the effort in that. But there's some nasty side effects to some of them.
You could put a bottle of test on a bench. It's not going to lift the weight for you. You still have to do the work. Do
the lifting. I'm trying to think of some of the weird things I've seen recently that people have been taking. Oh, I mentioned apple cider vinegar earlier. That did the rounds, and I think it's still doing the rounds. There's another one, and I can't remember what it's called, but they both come with those chews that I mentioned. And one, like apple cider vinegar, is meant to be for kind of fat burning. Yeah. And then this other one is, as you mentioned about magnesium, like sleep, like to help calm you and recover better in your sleep. Yeah. So.
But anything that can enhance your sleep will aid your recovery anyway, and it's not going to be the thing that you've used to make you sleep that's going to make your recovery better. It's the fact that it's the sleep itself. So anything that can make the thing that's going to make you recover better will be beneficial.
Having mentioned fat burning, obviously fat burning pills is a big thing.
Fat burning, that's bollocks, isn't it? Must be.
Well, there's girls. I have to say girls, probably majority girls. I'm sure some men take them, or boys, where they've literally had so many that it's killed them.
Fried their insides.
Like
what are they?
Like cooking on the inside, basically, aren't they? It's like an endothermic reaction.
I was going to say, does it just increase your?
Yeah, so it creates thermal reaction inside you, basically, doesn't it? To try and. But if you have too many of them, then there's all sorts of other shit inside them that are going to be doing that. So, fat burning supplements. No, just
go for a walk.
Calorie deficit.
Just go for a walk.
And get your activity up. Like, people mention caffeine to me a lot. Because I drink coffee, and they're like, "Oh, do you do that to help either G you up for a workout or to fat burn?" And I'm like,
metabolism.
No, I just like coffee.
Yeah. I think that takes a lot of people back when you say, "I just like it."
I just like coffee. Yeah. I like one in the morning because I don't actually think it wakes me up in any shape or form. Yeah. It's just like a habit that I have that I like to have one.
Yeah, that's the misconception I think that people have, is they think that everything we do, it has to be purely
related
fitness.
to
It's like when I say, I ordered 2 large Dominoes last night, and they're like, "What?" And they're like, "But I thought you're supposed to be healthy." It's like, yeah, but
I can still enjoy a pizza.
It's like, And they're like, "Well, yeah, but that's not very good if you're, training people." It's like, yeah, but their goals are different to mine. What if I'm trying to gain weight?
Yeah. Well, my automatic thing is you're allowed to have a pizza every now and again. There's nothing wrong with having a pizza. As long as you work it into your lifestyle, it's fine.
Or you just want something that's not boring fucking food all the time.
Chicken and broccoli. But yeah, so caffeine. Yeah, sure. People have used it to, have an espresso and pre-workout. I went. That's a cheaper way of doing it.
Yeah, that would buzz you more, I should imagine. But
I had a cheeky espresso before a lecture session on Friday, and although I probably felt the same exact way, I did feel a bit of a, because it's caffeine at the end of the day, it is meant to.
But I also think a little bit.
It's not why I did it. So
if people feel the need to take things like pre-workouts and those pick me up things before a workout, they're obviously not that into doing the training. Because if you're really looking forward to it,
you're focused on the workout itself.
You'd have had a decent night's sleep before, you'd be hydrated and you'd have eaten enough, and then you'd be buzzing to go in just off your own back. You wouldn't need to be necking all this shit to be buzzing to then. If
you fuel yourself correctly, then you don't need a pick me up because you should already be picked up.
Exactly. Yeah.
I think the same with energy drinks. So I haven't really mentioned energy drinks. You see people on Monsters and I don't know what else, Red Bull.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. I don't rate it at all.
I don't have any of that stuff.
I think
I wouldn't tell people not to necessarily, but
they like it, but people generally drink it like before a workout or during a workout,
that's
and
really
I don't understand. I don't
because it elevates your heart rate, and then you go and do intensive exercise, which elevates it even more. So you could have a heart attack. So
there you go. Disclaimer: don't do that.
I think people just think it's just going to get you geared up. For a session. No,
well, when
your heart could literally fucking explode.
I read shit like
extreme.
Yeah, I read shit on Instagram. And it's like I've had 3 Monsters before a workout, and I'm like, what are you doing? You know,
fucking psycho. That's mad.
Don't do that. What's the point? Just drink water. It's way better for you.
Yeah, or people who come in for a late night gym session and they're like, yeah, just have a pre-workout. So good luck getting to sleep till about 6 o'clock in the morning. I don't think they realise how long it actually stays in your system for. But then if you have it regularly, then you build up a tolerance to it anyway, and then it's literally doing nothing.
It's pointless,
that is literally wasting money.
Way out.
So you have to then stop it for
it's like drugs.
It takes you a month to get through a tub. Have it for that month. You'll build up a tolerance by the end of it. Then have a month off, and then have it again. Then you'll get the benefit from it. But that goes to training as well. Doing the same thing over and over again, you get nothing out of it.
Indeed.
So.
Right. Any more?
Yeah, probably. But
there's probably loads. We don't know what they're called.
Discussing.
I also don't know what half of them are called.
No.
If you have any, I know a few of my fellow personal training buddies do take performance enhancing drugs, so it'd be great to get your opinion on this stuff. Because
and what you recommend.
Yeah. He's ready. So because we obviously are a bit more novice to that because we don't really do much with that.
Yeah.
But it'd be interesting to get your opinion. It'd also be interesting if you're not taking any supplements or we've not mentioned something like vegan supplements. Because I know a couple of my friends are vegan as well. So, but anything that you recommend to others of your similar.
I definitely think the bottom line is if you're looking at starting to have some regular supplements in terms of like vitamins and stuff, go to a GP and see what you need. Yeah. Don't just guess. I mean, I've never been to have my blood test. I've just had stuff that I think, based on the sort of training I do, what I think is good for. Yeah, but again, that might be rubbish. But
I think that's in terms of we're not really even discussing this in terms of training. We're just discussing this in terms of life.
Yeah.
You know, when it comes to vitamins and things like that. Like so many people are deficient in so many things. Like we had a friend that's massively deficient in iron. So things like that. So it depends what you need, as Jake says. So you need to find out what that is. Yeah. We're going on more of a popular demand, like multivitamins and vitamin D. You can't really overdose on that kind of stuff. So I'd recommend not to go to, just have one a day, like it's suggested on the bottle. But they're obviously going to be probably your best go-tos at the beginning anyway, especially for us Brits. Vitamin D, I recommend it. It's crazy.
And it massively boosts your mood and if you sleep.
Yeah, I think
just general function and mental health as well. Yeah, because you stop people from being quite so depressed if you're
having that. Yeah. We always feel better in the sunshine, guys.
Exactly.
There's a reason for that.
Yeah. So. You're miserable when the day's miserable.
Yeah.
You're happy when the day's nice. You know, that's not just rubbish. That's legit.
So try and help yourselves. And all in all, drink water, eat food.
Yeah. And lift heavy.
And lift heavy, yeah. Okay, guys, any comments or questions, please leave them below. Otherwise, we will see you in the next episode. Have a good one, team.
Yes.
Bye.